For me, it's really a matter of parang ano yung priority,
Mm.
like at this point in your life. If it's your studies, like you guys, di ba?
Yeah.
Studies by priority niyo.
Um,
Hi, I'm Corinne Catibayan. I graduated from batch 2019. That was 2 years ago. I was part of externals, and now I'm currently working for GMA 7 as a news correspondent or news reporter. So I actually still work face to face. But I'm still on the field.
mm,
But there was a time when I had to quarantine, or several times when I had to quarantine. So that was when I would work from home. Tapos, it's super different because the interaction that you get from being on field and actually talking to people on the streets is so different versus through a screen. And it's harder also to get stories when you're working from home because the nature of my job as a reporter,
yeah.
nasa kalsada ka, you're
Yeah.
interviewing people out there. So I would consider myself lucky that I still am able to be on the field. But I feel like minsan it can be a double-edged sword kasi you're lucky because you still get to work the way you normally do. But at the same time, you're super exposed to the
Yeah.
virus, diba? Kasi you're out there. And then I live with my family, so I bring it home and then they evidently get exposed also. At this point, like whenever I get tested, and then they ask, have you guys ever been tested?
I
Not
haven't.
yet. Okay, well, anyway, when you fill up the form and then parang they ask if you've been exposed to somebody, my answer is always unknown because I don't know na eh. Like I don't know if I've been exposed to somebody or not. But that's one challenge that I face on the daily basis. But on the other, no May when they shut down, one of the big networks, that was
Mhm.
that was a big, even although I'm not part of that network, that was a big deal for not only for so many of my colleagues also, which they face until today. So parang being in that same environment and um parang it's just the worry that it could also be done, or that same curtailment of press freedom could be done also to anybody at this point. It makes it a little bit more difficult to work sometimes. So my shift is 10 p.m. until 6 a.m. and then that extends depending on what's happening. But basically, it's 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. And then sometimes, at the most, the office will call. If something happens, then they'll call and ask you to come in earlier. So that
Mm.
has happened, like when I'm in some family event, and then like just I don't know, just do you guys I don't know if you're familiar with what was happening last week with the Commonwealth shootout.
Oh yeah, I've heard. Yeah, I've heard of
So
it.
I was literally in a family event. It was my tita's birthday here at home. And then that happened. And then my office starts calling in and asks if I can come in earlier because there was a shootout in the mall or in somewhere near close
Mm.
by. So okay, so I had to go.
Yeah.
Our schedule really depends on more like what's happening in the world.
Yeah.
It actually excites me. I mean, sometimes when I'm with and there's a gathering and then I have to leave early, it's like, oh gosh, like,
Yeah.
I'm missing out. But at the same time, it's like, oh my gosh, this is actually happening, and I
Yeah.
get to go straight to the event where it's happening. Although, yeah, maybe medyo delikado minsan, but it's part of the job. So
Yeah.
one thing's for sure, I don't get to see my friends as often.
Aw.
It's really more the people who are, yeah, but I mean also because of the pandemic, diba?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, but then when in terms of like work life, because everybody's just at home. My family is just at home. I actually get to spend a lot of time with them, which I'm thankful for also. But then one thing that I've been trying to find the balance of is actually my work fitness life. Now I'm trying to push myself now. Okay, use the time or the hours that you have in between to get some exercise. So that's what I'm trying to find the balance of right now. Really, for the most part, it's sleep, work, and then Netflix in between. but then balancing it. In fact, for me, if parang when people or even my friends and they're parang when they think that you're so busy or all of that, for me it's really a matter of parang ano yung priority, like at this point in your life, like what is the priority? And if it's work, then it's work. If it's your family or if it's your friends or whatever, or if it's your studies, like you guys, diba?
Yeah.
Studies by priority niyo.
Let me think about it. Joke lang. Of course,
Or
it's good.
orgs maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really depends. Parang nasa inyo na yun, naman yun eh. Like if you love doing it, then parang hindi ka masyadong busy. And it's also a matter of parang who you want to parang share the time that you have with. So in my case, because like luckily also with the lockdown, but like I mentioned earlier, my family is just home. So I like spending the free time that I have with them. So yun, it's really about parang what is most important or what can you um manage, parang what who you can manage it for, I think, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I like making lists actually. Well, not lists, pero parang at the start of the year. And then you kind of list down, okay, ano yung gusto mong gawin, ano yung gusto mong ma-achieve. And then based on that, then it kind of, parang that gives you a clear, I want to say, parang timeline of how you want things to go. So that helps. Parang if you're so, you don't have time to do anything, feeling mo, you can't see anyone na, if you organize it in a way na will benefit you, that will help you in the long run. So yeah. And for me, parang OA yung sobrang busy, parang no time for anything. Yung ganon,
Yeah.
parang it really depends on parang on you and how you want to manage or use the time that you have. Kasi everybody has time. It's really more of, kasi for example, if you're working, that's eight-hour shift yon, and then depending if you have overtime, and then this also, but it goes for people who are work from home. I've heard so many stories of people na work from home, and it's a little bit harder pa kasi parang kahit hindi na nila shift, they're still working on deadlines. That I can understand then. But then even then, during the weekends that you have or on the days off that you have, keep those days for yourself and for the people that you actually want to spend time with. Not your work. That's me talaga. As in, I have friends who are parang nagme-message sila na parang nagtatrabaho pa rin sila on a Sunday or on a Saturday. Then I always thought parang, even if they say na I can't not be working. You can eh. Kasi araw mo yun eh, for rest and for yourself. Parang keep your work phone away. I actually don't have any strategies. They say, or at least what I've read is, you can assign a schedule for yourself. Na for this time you wake up and then have breakfast and then whatever you eat and then you work out and then you do your work and then basta parang yung ganon, parang my schedule talaga. But I actually don't have that. Maybe I should. But in terms of strategies, feeling ko I'm the wrong person. Kasi when I have free time, I'm literally just, Netflix, ano pwedeng panoorin.
I think that's good though, because I mean, it's para you're in the moment then. Yung hindi ka yung super
Yeah.
okay, itong time lang na to mag-rest. Diba?
True. Tsaka kasi minsan, pag may schedule ka, tapos hindi mo, parang if you didn't follow it, tapos matataranta ka na lang.
Yeah.
Di ba? That's ano.
That's
So,
me.
but it depends. Parang, I think there has to be a balance between those two kind of types, I guess. Kasi minsan, if sobrang organized ka naman, tapos, something mismanages, tapos matataranta ka, then that's bad. But then if you're also so unorganized and just wala lang, hindi, parang wala nang mangyayari, diba? So it's really finding that balance between the two. I think one thing that I have done, or I'm trying to make it a little bit more consistent, is just to share, kasi my mom, she always, like, she jogs a lot. So parang, and it's a specific time in the day, parang paggabi na, 5 to 7 is her parang time to run or exercise, and that's with my whole family. They really exercise during that time. And when I was saying earlier na parang minsan mag-Netflix na lang ako, that's me, and then everyone else is exercising. So can you imagine, parang ang hirap, di ba?
Yeah.
So I've been trying to do is join them during that period. Not only for me to be able to exercise, like I mentioned, is one of my New Year's resolutions, di ba? But also to allot that time to spend with them. So that's something that has become a little bit of a routine. It's in a good way, na that is paulit-ulit, but it's good kasi it helps you maintain several things also. So yeah. I think that the hardest part is starting or getting started, and then once na tupad mo yun, medyo tuloy-tuloy na. But that varies also, because sometimes you do it one day and then the next day you're like, diba?
Yeah.
So I think it also helps if you have a buddy, if you have somebody to do it with you. Because that goes with anything, like, iba-iba, like depending on what you want to achieve. If you have a partner doing it with you, kasi you can also cross-check each other. Oy, gawin na natin to, or, so that helps. So also it depends on, like, who you're surrounded by. I think that plays a really crucial role also in being able to get something done.
Yeah.
Nung time na yon, it was like hell sem for me that whole year. So imagine, parang there were like, I had my majors and then pre-thesis pa. Tapos I had this one elective class that I really wanted to take, but it was, and I took it, but it was so heavy. Parang it was it's a super heavy loaded class.
Yeah.
So at that time, haggard as in. So parang siguro if I were to just like go back na lang. Kasi now if I look back at it, it's like, oh my God, that was so hard to do. Pero at the same time, if you look back, tapos nagawa mo yun, parang okay, parang kaya mo pala, yung ganon.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if I were to just go back during that time, during that period when I was juggling so many things, siguro it would have been better to have a more organized schedule, and I should have siguro fixed my classes in a way that it won't be too much on my plate. So yeah.
So, I mean, since you said nga na super, as in, na-overwhelm ka with sabay-sabay. I mean, so were there times na naka-experience ka like, burnouts? And if you did, like, how did you handle it? Syempre kasi it's like too much.
Yeah. I don't know if burnout is I mean, I had siguro a couple of breakdowns.
Yeah.
Pero I don't know if burnout, kasi I enjoy it. Parang I like the adrenaline that went with the parang being so having a lot on your plate. I don't know if baka nerd lang or parang weird, pero you get a rush from doing so many of these activities or doing so many of these different extracurricular things.
Mhm.
Pero what do you call this? Never burn out. Kasi for me, if you're when you're enjoying it naman,
Yeah.
then parang hindi ka mababurn out. But that's just me ha. Kasi
Yeah.
there could be some people who like what they do, but still,
Yeah.
they still feel that they don't, parang too much na, which
Yeah.
is understandable also. But for me, I remember having a lot of breakdowns, and then I remember I would go to the UP Chapel Pan.
Oh.
Lord help me. Yung ganun.
Yeah. I get that.
parang parang hindi mo na alam yung ganon. But then at the same time, parang when you're able to overcome it and then go through it and then you look back, you just think, shit, ang galing ko, yung ganon.
Kinaya ko yun. Yeah.
And actually the stress that comes along with it, I don't know if this is the right parang mindset, but it teaches you also how to cope or what you're able to do or parang your range of like parang what you're capable of doing, 'di ba?
Yeah.
It you learn also about yourself along the way. So it's all part of it. Parang yung mga it's I like to I like to call it your adversity quotient. Parang if you're able to the way you're able to manage your stress or deal with certain hardships in the long run, it actually also toughens up your mental strength and all of that. So it's good also to have those bouts of but not too much kasi
Yeah.
you don't know
I mean,
yeah.
what it is, but I get what you mean. Like it's more on the character development aspect, yeah. Na the stuff that we go through, and I'm sure na your experience, the stuff you went through, it's built who you are now or who you are today. So
and that goes for everybody, like everybody who needs to hear that parang all of these different things will eventually build your character, make you who you are or who you want to become, diba? I mean, and like okay, my little sister kasi she is first year and then so she started na online. So parang she's thinking na, oh my gosh, what if I actually do face-to-face classes tapos third year na ako? Yung ganon. Parang it's all of that. It's overwhelming but then at the same time, parang you kind of those feelings that you have, minsan you shove it off na lang because you're so busy with whatever. So I think if you take the time also to reflect and to process what is going on, that'll also help you parang it'll help you realize the things that you want to do right now.
yeah.
And another thing I think that everybody should remember is that this too shall pass. It's not permanent and it's not, although yes, there are some things na you really need to adjust to and it's difficult because it's not, iba sa nakasanayan nating lahat, di ba? But it's not permanent. And in fact, it's this time that parang you can use the time that you have now to do something that you wouldn't have been able to do had it been normal lang. Yeah. And for those who parang they haven't found it or feel it, parang same lang since before, then use the time to look for it, di ba?
Yeah.
Parang there are actually so many things that you can do with the time that you have now. You just have to find it or look for it.